When you look back at history, comments on stories has a long trajectory. Even before letters to the editor, the early newspapers left spaces for readers to add their own comments to that issue. Because the idea would be that you would then send it on to your friends with your comments or your news. So we've had a tradition of this interaction with the news from the very early newspapers that would leave white space for readers to add their own news and their comments. What happened with the history of media is as journalism became more professionalized, those spaces became far more restrained. So we had letters to the editor. What the space for comment for stories online has done is, in a sense, taken us back to the white space of the early newspapers, leaving a space where readers can say just about anything about that particular story or whatever's in the news that day. So comments on stories do offer the potential for readers to have their say, to give their feedback, their opinions, their thoughts on what's happening in the news. And by and large, these are very open spaces. Very often there's very light moderation, very light control of what gets published. If, for example, I went away for the weekend and I left my door open and left a notice saying, "House is empty, make yourself at home, do whatever you want," and I came back on Monday, what would I find? I would find my place had been trashed. And really, this is how most comments on stories sections are run. They're essentially saying, here's our house, we're away for the weekend, do what you want. If they're just left open for anybody to do anything and say anything, then some people will say things that we find unacceptable. But the other thing is also that there is a danger of overemphasizing the negative aspect of comments on stories, of the material that people have posted. And that's partly because when we tend to hear about cases, we hear about the abusive messages. We don't hear about the thousands of informed, considered, well thought out comments.